So I'm making the beginnings of my chocolate hazelnut meringue, which is going to be put into a very elaborate pave. And right now I'm just finishing measuring the 2½ tablespoons of a deliciously dark cocoa. I'm chopping up any little lumps here to make sure that I get enough cocoa in here, but I don't want to pack it. Okay, I'm going to put this in. And what I have in here, I'm going to also do 2½. So I need a ½ tablespoon is 1½ teaspoons. So I'm going to put one there and a half there. Whoops. Okay, I'll put that in there. And so what I have in this bowl is I have toasted hazelnuts. And toasting hazelnuts is a labor of love, actually, because you have to toast them, warm them in the oven for about 20 minutes at 325, and then put a damp towel on them to take care of most of the husk that's on there. And if you don't get all off, it's okay, but you want to get as many off as possible. And then I have powdered sugar. I have about 6 ounces of powdered sugar in here. So what I'm going to do with this is put this in a processor and pulverize it until it's very fine. And what I'm going to do is end up with this. So this is my hazelnut and powdered sugar and cocoa mix. But what I need, because this is more than what I need, is I'm going to use my scale here. And in the bakery, in any bakery or in the home kitchen, I do trust the scale best of all. I'm going to tare it or put it on 0 to get rid of any weight on the bowl. And I'm going to weigh out 7 ounces of this master mix, which is, again, the hazelnuts, toasted, powdered sugar, and cocoa. We're almost there. So on a scale, it's very clear. Perfect. Okay, so this is going to be folded into my meringue. And in here I have 5 ounces of room temperature egg white. Again, the bowl is immaculately clean, no grease. And the whip, which again is immaculate. And I'm going to make a meringue, and then I'm going to be folding the hazelnut mixture into this meringue in a rather unconventional way, which you will see. So I'm going to turn the speed on, and I have 1 1/8 teaspoons of cream of tartar, which I'm going to add to this. I'm going to take my here and scoop this down in here. Cream of tartar tends to bunch up at the bottom. I'm going to raise this a little bit so that the beater reaches the bottom. And in here I have 6 ounces of superfine sugar, which is really tiny crystals of sugar. And I am going to add a little bit of this when this gets foamy. So we're increasing the size. So if you were to see this bowl, you would see that there's a lot of foam and that it is growing. Now while that's beating, I'm going to sketch a design because I'm going to be piping this out onto this sheet pan. And I'm going to sketch a rectangle, 2 rectangles. And this is approximately, and if you make a mistake, you can always go over it when you're piping. Okay, now the meringue is starting to be stiff. And I'm going to add approximately 1 tablespoon of sugar, and I'm going to beat this until it's really stiff, and then I'm going to add the rest of the sugar. This is a lot of sugar, so we're going to make a real stiff meringue. So I'm adding the sugar slowly and creating a really stiff meringue. Again, lifting the bowl so the whip is sure to get the bottom of the mixture. For this whole process, I'm also using a pastry bag and a tip that's approximately 1/4 of an inch wide. Plain tip. at how nice and stiff that is. Beautiful. Okay? So to that, we're going to very quickly fold in our hazelnut cocoa powdered sugar mixture. And we want to do that quickly because the fat in the cocoa is going to deflate this meringue. So I'm going to sprinkle this on. Probably should do this all at once because my hand is going to get gooey. And I'm going to, again, with my gloved hand, I'm just going to take my, and I'm going to fold it in like this. Keep your hand open and fold. So fold means that I go from the bottom to the top. All right, looking good. Grab that bottom with your fingers and then just pull it up to the top. All right, now we have our meringue and we're ready to pipe. I'll take off the gloves. Okay, and now comes the fun piping part. When you load a pastry bag, in this case, you want to press the end in so that any of the mixture doesn't go through. And then you pull this down with your spatula or your bowl scraper. You want to get in as much as you can that you can handle. I have small hands, so I'm not going to put in all yet. Squeeze it over here. And then with an even motion, and again the angle is about a 90-degree angle. I'm a little bit above the surface. I'm going to squeeze this around. And I'm going to fill this in with an even motion. And if it doesn't turn out perfectly, it's fine. You can use a spatula to fill it in. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to bake this on 200 degrees in the oven, and you can, if you use more than one pan, which is okay, you can put both pans in at the same time, even if your oven is a conventional oven, which means that it's you're only really supposed to put in one pan because the heat source is on the bottom. Turn this around here. Okay, make it as level as possible. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And we'll just continue. We need 2 of them. And what we're going to be doing with this is we're going to be making a pave, which is, as you can see, it's going to be a rectangular dessert, but it's going to be paired with, and now we have to reload, which is fine. We'll get this out, and then I'll do this again. It's a rectangular dessert that's paired with a genoise, in this case, which is a French sponge cake, which is going to be chocolate, and we're going to make some chocolate French buttercream, which is going to be the filling, and we're going to moisten the cake with a Frangelico simple syrup, and then we're going to ice it and decorate it up with some of this hazelnut meringue. So it's going to be fabulous. So now what we're going to do is burp the bag, so to speak. We're going to squeeze this out, so we have this little air in here. We're going to get rid of that, and we're going to just squeeze evenly, moving your body, just going along here like this. And again, I want to have some extras for the outside, so I don't want to use all of it up here. And just light pressure, you don't have to press heavily. Okay, so that's going to be inside the cake. And then I am going to pipe some strips that we're going to be using for the outside. Okay, I'm almost finished here. Just a couple more to go. All right. And now this is going to go into a 200-degree oven for 2 hours until it crisps up